Analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home of podcast content creators.
The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
Good day, good people, and welcome to another purpose-filled episode of Lessons for the Journey, produced by Podcastic and Your Inspired Journey, live here every Friday at noon on Facebook and YouTube. I am your host, Dr. Heather Heteru. I am excited for you to join us today. We have in our studio, of course, our co-host, Ma'at Sabah, our motivational healer. And we also have a guest who will be dropping us a little bit of knowledge on one of her products that she is sharing with us today. But we'll get into that in just a moment. So every episode, we explore women's wellness. We talk about spiritual insights, healthy relationships, and real life journey lessons. Every conversation is designed to help you understand your whys, heal emotional patterns, and grow in spiritual maturity so you can move differently in this next chapter life. If you are seeking clarity, healing, empowerment, this podcast is for you. So we challenge you to take what resonates and reflect deeply and align as it fits with the intention of your journey. So we always start off our podcast with connecting with our inner guidance. And by doing that, we use our Ma'at memo cards. And so right after this, we're going to show a little bit about Ma'at memo cards and some of the other products that she offers. But before we get started, we're going to use the cards as a sense of awakening our inner guidance so that as we think about the questions, it helps us to tap into deeper into who we are becoming. And so I want to make sure that everybody in the studio pulls a card with us, and we really just reflect on it, and then we answer the card. But you, as our audience, we want you to listen in. We want you to think about the questions for yourself, and we also want you to answer them for yourself. Again, this helps you tap into that inner guidance. And so after this, we want to make sure that you have your tools. We know your tools are your journal, your pen, and your water. And we're going to talk a little bit later about why your water is super important to this part of your journey. All right. And so we're going to start by dipping into the cards. I'm taking mine right off the top. I'll pass it to our engineer. Just one. Unless more grabs your attention and then pass it back.
Yep, if you get more than one, then that means you're supposed to.
It was supposed to.
Yep.
Yow. Okay, so.
This one easy for me.
Great. This one says, are you responsible with your money and saving and spending habits? Why or why not? Am I responsible with my money? I am responsible with the money that I have. I am anticipating more money to be responsible for. And so my spending habits, pretty modest, and my saving habits are even more modest. There you go.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
You danced around that one.
I thought I did a good job with answering that question.
I say, what brings you the greatest joy in life and why? the pleasure of creating. Why? Because I think creation pleases God. Not the pleasure of a woman, not the pleasure of a man, but the pleasure of being able to create for what God gave you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's awesome. All right.
So mine says, has anyone ever broken your trust in him or her? If so, who was it and why?
Ooh.
And have you ever broken anyone's trust in you and why?
Ooh.
Well,
I'm like, ooh.
Broken my trust. I would say it would have been my ex-husband. And it was a number of times. So, probably him doing things that I asked him to not do, and he consistently did it. So then trust was broken there. Has I ever broken anyone's trust in me? I'm pretty sure I have. I have to think about it, but if I had to pick somebody, I'm pretty sure I've broken my children's trust in me on some level. What it was, I don't know, because we don't have, our relationship is great, so it would have had to been in their childhood. So it's nothing that I'd have to sit with this. It's nothing that I could pinpoint right now, but I'm sure I would have had to. So I would say my children.
Okay. Angelina, what does your card say?
She had a great card.
Right.
Mine says, what was the hardest conversation that you have ever had to have and why? So for me, as I continue to think about the question, the hardest conversation that I ever had to have was pretty much probably with myself. Self-doubt talk, not able to make enough income, or I don't belong in the room, or things of that nature. And I have to really overcome my own talks because of the way I was raised. For me, knowing that I wasn't supposed to be anything, that I have to continue to overcome that.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And so today, our topic is systems of human consciousness. Systems of human consciousness. And we had a special guest that was going to be joining us today. He's going to join us a little bit later this month. That's Sutin Aten. So if you've seen the advertisements and the flyers about him joining us, he still is going to join us. It just won't be today, but I'm looking forward to his conversation. But part of what our conversation overall was going to be about was the systems of human consciousness and his area of expertise. And so we're going to broaden our conversation for today and look at different ways that we're going to have this conversation. So 2 ways that we're going to start. We're going to start with Ma'at first because I want to talk about the water. And I want you to talk a little bit about the water station. And then, Angelina, we're going to talk about your products to help us with clarity and focus because it's a part of this conversation around systems for human consciousness. So, Miles, if you can help us with the 2 flyers. So we're going to be looking at the water station flyer, and we're going to look at the Nutra Plus flyer. So we're going to start off talking about water. One of the ways that we always start our podcast is encouraging our listeners to get water and use it as a tool. And so that's really important because the process of hydration in your body is so super important. And we don't know that often we are dehydrated, and our dehydration puts us in a survival mode. And so that's survival in your thoughts. So you're not thinking as clearly as you would because your body is more focused on its essential functions, not executive functions. So essential functions are, of course, your heart, making sure your heart is beating, making sure the blood is pumping and flowing, and not necessarily around the decisions and choices that you're making. So here's a clue for you. If you are making important decisions, make sure that you drink water before you start making decisions. If you're in an argument or disagreement, make sure that you are drinking water to help you make better decisions and hear more clearly, and to make sure that you are drinking water before you start making decisions. If you're in an argument or disagreement, make sure that you are drinking water to help you make better decisions and hear more clearly, and to make sure that you are drinking water to help you make better decisions and hear more clearly, and to make sure that you are drinking water because again, your body is in survival mode. It's not thinking about the decisions and choices that it's going to make your life easier. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to my aunt, because in our room, I think she probably is the most expert on water and why we need the water, and also talking about the water station. Yes. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Okay, so when it comes to water, people might be asking, like when you talk about hydrate so you can make better decisions, so people might think, well, what does that have to do with making good decisions? Well, the body's about 70% water and the brain is about 80% water. And usually when you first wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is drink a glass of water, a minimum of about 8 ounces. It jumpstarts your body. And then drinking water throughout the day. Some people might guzzle 16, 32 ounces at one time. It's not that it's not going to hurt you, but sometimes the body does not completely absorb that water, and it just kind of goes straight through and you go to the restroom. Now, we at the store, which is water station, we have alkaline water. Now, the difference between alkaline water and regular water, tap water, if you will, is the alkaline water, the molecules in the water are smaller than the water molecules in the typical water that you would drink out of the faucet. And what that means is, like, say, for instance, if you have a basketball hoop, and you try and put a beach ball through the basketball hoop, it's not really going to go. But you can throw a baseball in the basketball hoop, and it goes directly in there. So it's the same thing with the water molecules. They're smaller with the alkaline water, so it hydrates your cells immediately. You can drink 16 ounces you can buy a bottle of water somewhere and drink 16 ounces, and you can feel it slushing in your stomach. You can drink 16 ounces of alkaline water, and you won't get that. So it hydrates your body immediately. It also freezes faster. I cook with it. I don't drink any other water except for alkaline water. And the more that you drink it, your body will not want anything else, and you'll be able to tell the difference. So some people say, well, all water is the same. No, it's not. It is absolutely not the same. I've had a friend of mine who's a naturopathic doctor, and a couple of other doctors that I've heard that don't believe in people drinking alkaline water, and then they actually suggest that they don't drink it. So my counter to that is all fresh water, to my understanding, all fresh water from a natural source like glacier water, what do you call it? I can't think of
water?
Yeah, if it's come from a spring or mountain water, that type of thing, they're all alkaline naturally. So why would Mother Nature make water for us to consume naturally alkaline if we're not supposed to have it? Make it make sense. So everybody's entitled to their opinion. And the reason, another reason to drink alkaline water is that your body is more alkaline based. Because of the lifestyle that people live, the fast food, junk food, cooked foods, stress, worrying, negativity, the chemicals and everything, the toxins that we're exposed to, our body is acidic. And if your body's acidic, that is one of the main components of you being sick. Illness and disease is you're in more of an acidic state than you are an alkaline state. So that's another reason to consume alkaline water. As far as the store is concerned, did you want?
Can you pull up the flyer? There's some other products though that are offered.
Yep. So
the water.
So at the store, it is the address is 15224 West 7 Mile, 1 block east of Greenfield, and we're between Greenfield and Hubble. Those are two main streets. And some of the other products that we carry are, of course, vitamins and minerals, supplements, bitters, which is a thing now. People drinking the sour side bitters, black seed bitters. We have all kinds. We have one for parasites, you name it. We've got a number of different types of bitters. Juices, all kinds of teas. Male enhancement is pretty popular. What else did I put up there? We have pasture raised, like real pasteurized, not pasteurized, I can't think of the word, pasture raised eggs.
Okay.
Chicken, pasture raised chicken and eggs.
Okay.
So I'm going to be carrying more vegan and vegetarian options. I'm vegetarian, and being vegetarian, is hard to find good vegetarian and vegan options in the grocery store. There's only a couple of brands that that you can buy, but there's a really large awareness now of being vegetarian and being a vegan. And so because you have people that are interested in it now, you want to be able to supply them with the foods that they can eat that you typically don't find in the grocery store. Come summertime, in maybe about another month or so, we'll be having produce. So you can come and get fresh produce there as well. Also, we have many different kinds of sea moss gel. So sea moss is popular now. We sell sea moss, we sell sea moss powder, and we sell the sea moss gel already made.
Well, so I want to make sure that if you are, because I made sure that, there was some information given to me to make sure that if you're looking for Water Station on Facebook, it's Water Station Detroit. Mm-hmm. So you can find that also on Facebook to get more information for your point of reference. That's Water Station, not the Water Station. It's Water Station Detroit if you're looking on Facebook. So, and if you are in and around the city, this is a great place. It's accessible. It's easy to find, and of course, we always support family-owned and Black-owned businesses. So, thank you for sharing that. And so that kind of leads us into our guest feature product. It's Nutra Plus Glow. Is it Glow Up?
So this is our Nutra Plus. Nutra Plus is a huge line from Turkey. So the company called it Pharmacy. The reason why it's called Farm is because everything that's in Turkey is European standards, outside of the United States, of course. Mm-hmm. So all of the stuff that they plant and build the fruits and all, they put it in their own product. Mm-hmm. So this line is called Nutra Plus that I'm be talking about, which is more their wellness line. Okay. They have a whole different makeup and self-care, which is what my main spa is built off of, body wraps, but I love the products because it helps my clients to, achieve their goals.
And so we invited Angelina to talk about a particular one of her products. This was the one.
The Glow System.
Glow System, right. The Glow System. Because we're talking about the systems of human consciousness. And because she is a distributor and she is the expert on her product, I really wanted her to talk a little bit about that so that people who have difficulty focusing or keeping their mind centered, and maybe meditation is not the best strategy for you. Maybe taking this product might be an alternate way for you to connect and get your focus, and so that you can align, so that as we talk about these systems of human consciousness today, that this will also help you as a tool, not just the alkaline water, but also here's another tool that's healthy, that is also one of the strengths that our guest speaker has, and that she's going to talk about that today. So thank you, Angelina. Bring it to us.
Yeah, so I'm going to touch on some things that, the beautifulness just mentioned, okay, with the water, which I love the aspect of that, because one thing that I tell my clients for the past 7 years, and I'm certified in everything that I do as far as fat freezing. I just want to let you know a little bit about my background. Mm-hmm. And I used to weigh 400 pounds. And with that, you have to take care of yourself and be consciously aware of what you're doing with your body every day. Mm-hmm. So this is why I was conscious for the past 7 years not to shop at Walmart for my meats, for example. And this is why even when I tell people shopping at Meijer's, you brought up a very good point about pre-packaged meat. I wrote it down. And the reason why I bring this up, because I teach my son how to purchase his own meat. And being conscious with that, this glow drink really goes hand in hand with that. But I do want to bring up, I'm going to give you guys some tips about that meat in Meijer's, especially if you're not going to Original Butcher. But I do want to say, human consciousness to me, and I wrote this down, isn't a thought, it's a frequency, okay? Mentioning the water, I always tell people, like, even this water that I brought today it's a Member's Mark water, not nothing too fancy. You have Ice Mountain. You have all kind of fancy waters. I do like the alkaline water, especially with 9.5 H or higher, so that way you can get the quality of what you're going to be witnessing in the Alaglow drink. Because the better the water, the more it tastes better too. Don't you agree with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this right here is our glow system. It's beauty and energy. I made sure I printed this out for you because our body is designed to thrive the best in the morning, like she just mentioned. It's not just about just waking up and drinking the water, but it thrives better in the morning, and it thrives with me in the morning. That's how I lost my weight and was able to maintain that weight. Part of my glow drink, which I love, is the first step is our Alaglow. Our Alaglow is definitely one of my favorite products that goes in the drink first. I was going to make one for you guys, but we don't have to today. But what is an Alaglow? I told you more about pharmacy. It's nothing but the aloe and the mandarin orange from their garden right into here. Natural products, no SLS, no GMO, no heavy metals in the products. This is why I will always continue to drink pharmacy products, and why I'm always going out showing more people to incorporate our products in their company. But the Alaglow, what it's going to do, you said something very important about absorbing the nutritions from your water and the alkaline. Well, Alaglow is here just for that. It's going to help the digestive system, so that way you can clear out the bacteria in your stomach to do what? To absorb the food better in your body, which actually goes hand in hand to what you're saying, because with your water and my Alaglow will help them absorb the food, the alkaline, the energy, and also every food that they eat throughout that point. Okay, so that is a great key component to your water. Also added to my drink, which is the L-carnitine Plus. I like the L-carnitine Plus. The reason why, a lot of people just drink L-carnitine. I'm not sure if you know exactly what L-carnitine is, but do know L-carnitine, just short, turns fat into energy. Okay? B12s turn food into energy. Okay? Okay, so we got, again, L-carnitine turns fat into energy. Well, I'll let you know, kind of need both, right? Because the food that we eat here in America is just not going to be the best food to digest, all right? And we don't want to really absorb the vitamins in McDonald's, do we? We don't want to absorb any of that from McDonald's or White Castles, for example, okay? Or whatever the fancy stuff that you guys cooking at home. But this is what I told my clients every day. Every time you wake up and think of something, if you drink a coffee, it could be a mushroom coffee. This is lion's mane, okay? Mushrooms. It's nothing but 10 different mushrooms benefits for your brain, focus, and energy. This is what I've been drinking. I do like, I ain't going to say no names of the coffee place I like, okay? I have stock in it, and that's why I continue to buy it. But I do love mushroom coffee, okay? So I just keep it real, okay? But if people be like, you got this, come out your business. I do drink my mushroom coffee in the morning, okay? Now, you may see me with another coffee later, but that's okay. Now, part of this other drink, I told you about the L-carnitine goes in my Glow Up drink. The other thing that goes in my Glow Up drink is called Hydro Drops. Now, what's really funny, I'm trying to go through this kind of quickly as I can, but when it comes to the Hydro Drops, I say it like this. As I got older and all the weight I was carrying, and, due to the weather and, other things in life, right? Joints. I mean, your joints can pop when you're over a certain age. You can't move around, a little stiff, okay? This goes in the Alaglow drink, okay? Why? It's going to help lubricate your joints. It's going to help curb your appetite as well, because most of us eat too much anyway, okay? So it's not an overweight problem. It's just really overeating problem, okay? And I think the restaurants out here know that. That's why you got these giant plates and you're spending $50 or $60 for a whole meal sitting there. To be honest with you, me and both my kids share one meal, okay? We don't need to sit down and eat a whole plate of calamari for appetizer and then a prime rib later. And then dessert, my goodness, that's a lot in one setting, okay? Now, what you see here is all of these 3 products. Do you think these are valuable for you already? Absolutely. Based on what she said, with the right water, you're going to absorb your vitamins and your intake better, and then you're going to turn fat into energy. Then you're going to lubricate your joints, right? Another part of this is recharge. Oh, sorry about that. Another part of this is recharge. This recharge is amazing. And one thing about this recharge I love is this energy. It's your caffeine. If you're a caffeine person, this is for you, okay? I like caffeine, but it's not as much. I don't really put this in my Alaglow, my Glow Up drink. You can, take it away if you don't want. If you're a person that's allergic to caffeine or whatever, take it out of there, okay? But if you need a little extra push in the morning, there you go. Along with that beautiful water. And the last step that I normally put in here is called Radiant Mind. And let's all agree so far that it's all conscious. It's all going to be a conscious behavior, because if you have the right behavior in your brain, right, you actually wouldn't be trying to get to your goals all the time or hitting your target. You wouldn't have New Year's resolutions, to be honest with you. If you had the conscious power in the brain to do what you're supposed to do, you would just be awakened to a different thing. So Radiant Mind, I like that it has choline, L-theanine, and alpha GPC. All, long story short, help with anxiety, help with mental clearness and mental stability, which is something that we need all the time. So that's what I wanted to mention. I want to make sure I love what she said, because it kind of ties into everything that I was going to talk about in the sheets. We need to do something with your water, because it'll be amazing. But my last thing I am going to say, because I know a lot of people, want to go to the butcher and do all this stuff with their meats, but I have found that it's called Pre. It's at Myers. I've been buying that.
Is that a brand?
It is a brand called Pre, and it tells you all about the meat. It's really clean. It's really better meat. Okay, it even tastes different. The color of the meat is different, because the color of meats that we've been used to are not the true color of meat. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. So I'm not going to take it there, but this is pretty much where I have all together. I'm just being aware of my own consciousness, and I'm following some different things to awaken myself. So that's the Glow Up drink.
Thank you. And Angelina, if you can just briefly share about your business and some of the mobile services that you offer, and then tell people how they can reach you too.
Oh yeah, so the mobile services that I offer, for sure, it would be more of my permanent makeup. I do the body contouring as well, which is the fat freezing, still with my medical director when we travel. But most of all, I do this all day with the beauty and energy and the glow system. I am actually promoting to other businesses more heavier. A lot of gyms are recognizing that they need electrolytes, they need Aloe Glow, they need protein. So it's a lot of small businesses are popping up everywhere too. They don't have any product that just kind of aligns with. So it's me being more of an educator and just making people aware that there are new products here in America that we need to be aware of.
Okay, thank you. And so how can they reach you?
Yeah, Mindful Beauty Program. You can hit me on Instagram. My phone number right now, that's a good question. Let me look this up, because I got a new AI. And I said to myself, I'm going to try this AI, because there's so many people that be calling. So it's 734-212-2864, 734-212-2864. And you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Mindful Beauty Program.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being our guest. And we are going to dip into some other conversation around the different systems of human consciousness. So our call-in number, if you want to call in, you want to ask some questions, you want to chime in on this conversation, call us at 810-560-0658. Again, that's 810-560-0658. And so as we talk about these systems of human design, human consciousness, we're going to talk about 7 different systems. And then we're going to really go into some discussion after we kind of list them and kind of give a little bit of information about it. And then we're going to have a conversation and ask some questions. I always pitch to my first, so, she's eagerly waiting for this conversation. Okay, so what I want to just open this up with is that as we talk about these particular systems of human consciousness, again, it's 7, and this is from a spiritual perspective, and the fact that these are designed to help us to, I say, name and also understand where our information, where our knowledge, and where our wisdom comes from. And so when I think of information, I think it's an important way that we bring in answers to our questions. I see information as answers to questions. I see knowledge as the application of those answers to those questions. And I see wisdom as the ability to, the experience that you have from the information, from the application, and then from the wisdom or the process of how it changes our way of being. I believe wisdom is what changes our way of being. And so as you look at those three combinations of things together, the systems of human consciousness being awareness, awakenness, and how all of that applies to your daily life. That's the conversation that we're going to have today. And how important it is to be able to navigate the different systems. I'm saying give it name, because a lot of the things that we do and experience every day in life is just a natural part of us. And if it's not lifted up and named, it's hard to distinguish one point from the other. And so this conversation of these particular systems, I think, are going to resonate with the people who are watching and listening today. Definitely with us in the studio. So I'm going to list them out. The top 7. These were just the top 7. Now, understand there are far more than this. But these are just the top 7 that kind of resonated with me when I was putting this information together. So the 7 would be astrology, numerology, human design. We'll talk about that. Chakras and energy anatomy. The 7 subtle energy bodies, archetypes, or some people use tarot cards, and ways to center your thinking, like meditation, reflection, contemplation. And so these are some of the systems that help us to frame our human consciousness, our personality, the different energy systems that are present in our daily lives. So, Ma'at, you want to take the first one?
Okay, so the first one is astrology, which maps the positions of celestial bodies to understand human personality, life patterns, and timing.
And I know that Sutan is one of the, he said that, people call him a master teacher. That's because he is, but he doesn't necessarily go by the master teacher title. He says he's a student of human consciousness. So I honor that, but he's a master teacher. He's a master teacher. Okay, numerology studies the divine symbolic meaning of numbers in a person's life, such as your birthday names, to reveal your cosmic code. And so that's another form that a lot of people use, either directly or indirectly. When you talk about your birthday, when you talk about a number that resonates with you, and so on. So you can take the next one.
Okay, human design, a system blending astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, and chakras to create a map of personal energy and decision making, offering a manual for living according to one's design.
And I think that has a lot to do with, I guess those are more Eastern systems of health and wellness that, again, there are a lot of people that are moving into, what is it? What's the practice?
Tai Chi,
Qigong, right. More, and I've seen so many of them advertised recently on social media saying it was a 30-day challenge. They were directing a lot of people to start this challenge on a certain day. Yeah. So another space in human design. Okay, so chakras and energy anatomy, the study of the 7 key energy wheels in the human subtle energy body that corresponds to the physical, emotional, and spiritual functions. That is one of the systems that I use and I am aware of and intentional about every day, because it helps me to move through where am I blocked? What do I need today? What am I not paying attention to? So it helps me as a self-check. You want to take the next one?
Okay, the 7 subtle bodies, a framework, physical, etheric, emotional, mental, astral, celestial, and causal, which is describing the layered, multidimensional nature of the human soul.
And your thoughts on that? I mean, we're going to get deeper into it, but what is anything that comes to mind as an indicator that might be familiar to people?
Probably auras.
Okay.
That might be the name that they're most familiar with.
Okay.
It's auras and seeing people's auras.
Okay. Tarot archetypal symbolism, a tool using symbolic imagery to access subconscious insights, understand personal journeys. And so, again, another tool or system that has taken a lot more popularity, more front row, because now it's not, there were traditional tarot cards, but now there's so many other, I like the goddess cards personally. One of our goddess sisters has her own set of cards. The ones that Sanaa put together. She has another set of cards. And then, and there are other people who use cards, even regular playing cards. They have a deeper meaning. They had meaning long before we started using them as a form of entertainment and games too. So, and the last one?
Okay, meditation and contemplative practices is a system used for thousands of years to quiet the mind, connect with higher awareness, and cultivate balance.
Right. So now, as we look and kind of go through each one of these systems, just a quick look and seeing what resonates with you. So if you're out there listening, give us a call, join in the conversation at 810-560-0658. Again, that's 810-560-0658. And so as we talk about, let's go back to astrology. Let's talk about some things that may be common for people when it comes to astrology. You got any thoughts on that?
You said common. Most people are familiar with like their zodiac sign. Back in the day, it's like, I'm a Leo, I'm a Aries. Oh, I don't like Pisces, and that type of thing. But it's way, way, way deeper than that. When Sunaten comes, I'm going to get more clarity on this. But one thing that I've noticed with astrology, because online, there are several people that I look at that do astrology and numerology. And in me watching that, what I realize is that everything that is happening, everything that ever did happen, and everything that is going to happen is rooted in the celestial bodies, which is where the practice of astrology comes from. And so they might say something like, we're looking at all of these different wars that are going on and potentially to happen. But the people that do astrology and numerology know that this is the energy of that is around this time. And so what we're seeing out is these players who are playing out the scenarios that are mirroring the energy from the celestial bodies. So it's not an accident, and everything's cyclical. So what we've been through, what we're going through now, has been done before and before and before and before and before. This is not new. It is a cycle, but it's, even though you're coming back to the same circle, it's spiraling up. So you might be coming back to the 12 o'clock point, but it's not this 12 o'clock, it's this 12 o'clock. And so it gives us an opportunity to look at ourselves and how we are a player in this game called life, using the celestial bodies as one of the tools. Now, we say that when you have children, you weren't given a roadmap. Actually, we were. And astrology and numerology are some of the tools that we were given to assist us in learning how to navigate this thing called life. When you get more into it, when I learned about it, and I by no means am an expert or anything close to it, but I did know enough that to do compatibility charts between myself and my children, or yourself and your coworker, or your boss, or a person that you have an interest in being in a relationship with, so you can see where the strengths and the weaknesses are going to be. You can see if you got a square, which means this might be the area you guys butt heads in, or you can't get your communication skills. It just won't work no matter what you do. Maybe there's a square. So there are things that when you know it ahead of time, so if you're going down the freeway and you're using your GPS, which is like astrology, and your GPS says there's going to be a 10-minute delay, there's an accident 2 miles down. Now, you can stay on that freeway and sit there for 10, 12 more minutes, or you can veer off and find another direction. Well, that's one of the things that astrology does. It's like it lets us know where the roadmaps are, but you still have free reign and free choice to make whatever decisions you want, knowing that these types of that you might be dealing with these certain aspects on your journey. Also, it assists you and shows you your strengths and your weaknesses. It shows you about your parents. The first astrology reading I ever had was a lady, about probably about 30 years ago. She told me about the person I was in a relationship at the time, his mother, how many children I had, whether they were male or whether they were female, about my parents. That lady laid out my whole life. And I'm thinking, how on God's earth would she even remotely know this? Mm-hmm. But I didn't know enough about the depth of astrology back then. So now that I know, it's a tool that is absolutely necessary and essential in order for us to use these tools to assist us in navigating life so we won't have some of the challenges that we have. These tools are used by the people who are in positions of power, and don't think that they're not. Mm-hmm. They use these. They use them in business. They use it in every aspect, which is how they have power over us/you. They have these tools and they use them. Well, we have the same thing. The knowledge is kept from us, and religion was the main one that did that. People in positions of power and religion told people that these things were evil and to stay away from them. So I didn't mean to go on all of that.
Well, no, I mean,
all the way around the bend, but
no, that's it. It really is important. And so one of the key things that you mentioned, and that go through all of the human systems of consciousness, is that you always have a choice. There is a choice to be made. Mm-hmm. You can choose to use the information. You can choose to ignore it. You can choose to believe it or not to believe it. And the universe is still in motion, whether you choose to believe it or not. God is still God, whether you choose to call God by a different name or not. And so, and it's not that we are, attempting to debate the message. We are sharing the message. We're sharing from our information, our knowledge, and our wisdom. And that is part of what we do on Lessons for the Journey. And so when we think about numerology, and again, this, I am not proposing to be the expert or a master teacher in these particular areas. I have some knowledge about different human systems, right? And so I wanted to make sure that as we talk about it, that as you're hearing it, things that resonate with you, for you to do your own level of self-exploration. That is what we're prompting you to do. So again, take in what you need, spit out the bone. So take in what you need, and what you doesn't resonate with you or doesn't have the same meaning or connection to you, you can put a pin in that for later. And so also you will have an opportunity to listen to this podcast again here on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel. So you will have a chance to go back and listen and get more information and more insight into what we're saying. So numerology is another system that we use it every day. Every time you count, you're using numerology. Every time you number something, you're using numerology. Every time you are using financial literacy, you're using numerology. It is the energy behind each number, whether you know that vibration or that frequency or energy or not. It is still present. And the objective is how we have learned to use it. And in terms of information, now remember, information is the gathering of details or data. It's the gathering of it. When you start to apply it in different areas of your life, then it becomes knowledge. And once you apply it to your life and you have experiences that are connected to that you can openly share with others, where you can say, yes, this way, not that way, or go up and not down. That is the part of the wisdom that is derived from the data, from the answers to the questions that are out there. Information answers questions, right? And so as you think about that and you think about numerology and where it stands in your life, and whether you believe it or not as a system of human consciousness, it is, and it has been already. It is a language of its own. A lot of our computer systems are based on, what is it, zeros and ones, Miles, isn't it? Yes. It's based on zeros and ones, numbers, right? Numerology. And so there's some other specifics that go deeper that this is a good time to explore. So we're going to move on to human design, and this is the blending of different systems. So, Ma, do you want to take on this? Because I know some of this is in your wheelhouse too.
Okay, so it says the system blending astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, and chakras. Create a map of personal energy and decision making, offering a manual for living according to one's design. So, the I Ching is, I think it's Chinese. It's a Chinese system. The Kabbalah is always associated with Jewish, but it's
far back.
yeah,
Right,
but
right.
it's not. They adopted it.
The tree of life, and it's yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They adopted that system, but they did not originate.
Right.
They're not the originators of that system. The chakras are energy centers in the body. Mainly, the information is only focused on 7 in the body, which are the same colors as the rainbow. They all have their own frequency, and they all are directly related to our consciousness, our thoughts, and how what we manifest in our life also is associated with your chakras. Now, again, they said there's 7 in the body, but there's nothing in existence only has one side. So there's 7 in the front and 7 in the back that nobody ever talks about.
Right. Universal cosmic laws too. Right. When I think of a human design, I think that's another major part of it. It's not expressed in this language, but it's still a major part of it. It's like all of these systems have some interconnection with the universal cosmic laws too. So I think that's important when we think about human design and how really it's the blending of different systems. So it could be the blending of astrology, numerology, chakras, subtle energy bodies, but they all really overlap. They all have some interconnectedness anyway. But
when you talk about the human design too, what made me think as the different shapes that we have in our bodies. So there's triangles, squares, and circles. And everything has a numerical value. Everything does. Everything has a specific frequency. So back to the numbers, there was a man named Gabriel Oyibo, I believe is his name.
the God number.
Yeah, he came up with the numerical value to prove that there was a what people call God, or I'm going to say source, or the creator. Mm-hmm. This is what Einstein and all them have been trying to find for however many years. He came up with a mathematical equation to prove that there was a creative source, a creator. And so everything, math predates astrology. Numerology came first. So if you talk about astrology, there's 12 signs. Well, how could it be 12 signs if numbers didn't come first? So math and numbers predate every system.
That's good. And so back to the chakras and energy anatomy. It talks about the chakras being the wheels in the human subtle energy body, which is going to be talked about next. One of the opportunities that we have to use and understand chakras, I like to think of it as, so I'll start at the bottom. So at the bottom, I say the division between our higher self and our lower self is our heart chakra. That is the middle. It's associated with the color green. And so the chakras higher, the 3 chakras higher and the 3 chakras lower, where you are having the most, let's say energy, the most movement, the most challenges, the most pain, the most joy, and those spaces, you could actually attach them to your chakra. So I think of my lower self being, the first one is my solar plexus. So my sense of power, my sense of self, my sense of identity, my sense of strength, whether that's physical strength or mental strength, I see, I think of my solar plexus associated with the color yellow or yellow gold. Beneath that is my creative chakra. That is my sacral chakra. It's connected to the color orange. And that's creativity. That is creativity in terms of sexual energy, procreation, and creation. It's the creation that Miles talked about earlier, being one of the joys of his life, being able to create. That is the sacral chakra. That's the physical space. When we think about higher self and lower self, I also think of it like the lower self is the physical self and the higher self is the spiritual self. And so this is how I use the systems to help me in my everyday life, to find out where are my blocks, where am I not fulfilling my purpose or my call, what is happening in me and where am I feeling it, to help me to answer my question of why. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I being this way? Why am I in this space? And so I use the chakra system to help me identify that. And then my lower chakra is my root chakra. It's connected to the color red. It is connected to basic needs. If you have a basic need for love or food or shelter or protection or whatever that basic human need, belonging is also in that space. That's how I know that is the chakra that I need to do work in. That may be where my energy is not flowing as well as it should or it could. And so I use this chakra system in this way to help me identify the tools that I need too. When I think about physical things, I know I need physical tools. When I think about spiritual things, I know I need spiritual tools. So from my heart up, my heart chakra is my love energy. It's my love center, whether that's personal, intimate, universal, whether it's humanitarian. This is where it's anchored. The next chakra up is my throat chakra. It has to do with communication. It also has to do with creativity. So people who are great speakers, who are poets and singers and advocates and people who argue a point, that is the chakra that they're using. The next one is our third eye. That third eye chakra is also one of intuition. And intuition, I'll just stay with intuition. I was going to mention discernment, but that's a whole nother conversation. But when you talk about intuition, again, this is your higher self. So it's your higher thinking. It's the higher proving. It's the higher sources of information and exchange that may not necessarily be, it's not limited to being spoken. It is something that you can draw out of physical things, inanimate objects. It is where you can get insights and downloads. And then the highest one is our spiritual, our crown chakra, which is our third eye is connected with the color indigo, or I'd like to think of it like denim, blue jeans, or somewhere around that blue. And then the highest one is the crown chakra, which is associated with either white or the color purple. And so that is, again, our spiritual center. That is our higher self, our higher connection to our source, the God center, the spirit center that goes up. And so all of the chakras have a direction, but they're also movement. They're constant movement. And so knowing that is also helping us to understand that the chakras, if they're not moving, if you're stagnated or stuck, that might be a sign that one of those chakras is also not moving or not open and not flowing freely. And so, I'm sure you can add plenty to this one. Any thoughts that come to mind about the chakras?
Once you learn about what the chakras do, like you said, when you wake up in the morning, there's some days you wake up and you just feel great. There's other days you wake up and you feel in some kind of way. No reason for it. You just slept well. You didn't have a bad dream or anything like that. And that usually is an indication that your chakras are off. And so there are ways to detect which one of your chakras is open, which one is closed, which one is not functioning strongly. But then the knowledge of them is probably the most important. So let's say, for instance, you wake up and you just feel angry for no reason. Then you want to look at your root chakra, see what's going on there. What is that? When you learn about the chakras, see what the root chakra means. It also represents your belief systems. So that can be an indication on how you're feeling is whether your chakras are strong, open, strong, and spinning fast, which will take too long to explain that, or if they're not. Your chakras also, the strength and the intensity of your chakras is also dependent on your thoughts. So if you are thinking negative, you are inhibiting the strength of your chakras. If you're thinking positive, then your chakras become stronger. They are brighter in color. And for those that can see, those who can see chakras and auras, they can see that with their spiritual eye. Most people cannot, but there are some people that can. So it's directly related to your consciousness and your thoughts. So when you change your thoughts, if you're waking up and you feel some kind of way, take the time, take a couple of minutes and get yourself centered. Maybe do some prayer, meditation, and center yourself and release that energy. So that's a way. If let's say your chest hurts or you're feeling grief or that type of thing, that's the heart chakra. What's going on? What's going on up in the heart here? Are you not giving love? Do you feel you're not receiving love, or people are not accepting you? That type of thing. So maybe that could be an indication that why your heart is off, or feeling uncomfortable. The other thing, your chakras are directly related to your auras. Now, if you think negative long enough, if you're around enough negativity, it weakens your aura. And if your aura weakens and even gets damaged, it can even have like tears or fissures in it. It's an energy field. When that happens, that is a way to let in illness, disease, and spirits. So this is another reason why it's extremely important to stay positive, think positive, have positive people around you, maybe take some spiritual baths, do your spiritual work for those that are open to it, taking crystals or wearing crystals associated with that aura. So it's a lot involved, and if you'd like to know more, then that's why you contact us, and we can assist you with that.
Absolutely, and I think we're gonna have a part 2 of this for next week. Yeah. We are only halfway through these systems, just the 7. Imagine the ones that we haven't even mentioned. So we're gonna move to a close, but I want to share a couple of things that are coming up before we close. So I have a couple of flyers I want to share. We have the book club coming up, which is the third Wednesday of every month, the Lessons for the Journey book club. This month is featuring Kelly Earth, and we are featuring her 12-step accelerator program. So it's a whole program system that's connected to that. We have on the second Sunday of every month, my Navigating Men. It is a opportunity to have some conversation and get some insight around this thing we call relationship and this connection between men and women, and some really important tools that we need to help us to bridge this gap of broken trust and bridge this gap of misunderstanding that we can build back up for healthier relationships. And then the last one I want to share with you is our the Emmy Way. We have a book, we have a program structure that has been engineered by myself, Dr. Heather Heteru, and Dr. Calvin T. Mann, that we have in the work that we do with working with boys or males, that we've done over time over these last 19 years within Emmy, the organization. And for us collectively, we have 70 years of experience working with young people, working with boys, men, husbands, and fathers, working with families, and helping this system, whether it's through education, whether it's through parenting, whether it's through work with our young people to talk and understand the language that they're speaking today. It really is essential if we are going to reconnect and build bridges with our boys, that we have some systems and some new ways of thinking and being to help us to do that. And then if you can bring up my aunt's flyer so that, she can talk a little bit about Relationship First Aid as we're closing out and some of the products and services that she offers.
Okay, so Relationship First Aid is a spiritual-based personal development program that focuses on assisting a person to going within and dealing with their stuff, the anger, the grief, the unforgiveness, the fears, in a non-emotionally invasive way. I also have different products, spiritual tools and products like crystals, incense, altar tools, spiritual baths, salts, and the cards, the Ma'at's memos, the shared. There's a 3-deck set for relationships called Shared Intimacies. There's a 2-deck set for parent to child called The Tie That Binds. There is a 3-deck set, which is the cards that we use today. These are called Me, Myself, and I. And then the Ma'at's Memos is a 1-deck set. So all of those are about taking the inner journey and examining self.
And how can they reach you?
So you can email me at relationshipfirstaid@yahoo.com, or website is relationshipfirstaid@yahoo.com, and the website is relationshipfirstaid.com, Instagram relationshipfirstaid.com, and on Facebook as well.
Thank you. Angelina, can you remind our viewers and listeners how to reach you?
You can reach me at Mindful Beauty Program on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, thank you. And you can reach me at You're Inspired with a D, yourinspiredjourney.com. You can reach me by phone at 313-759-7855. Again, that's 313-759-7855. I want to really thank you for joining us today and listening. I want to thank our engineer and producer, Miles Dixon of Podcasting Studios. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. And we want to thank you for listening today. And we pray that you have gotten something that you needed, that you've gotten some perspective, some information, some tools that will help you navigate this journey. And we want you to stay clear. Take good care.